You are listening to a special edition of the Central Indiana Sports Report, our preview of the Class 5A Sectional 21 championship game between the Pendleton Heights Arabians and the Yorktown Tigers, with Herald Bulletin sports editor Rob Hunt, Muncie Star Press sports editor Kate Hampton, and Pendleton Heights head coach Jed Richmond. Co-hosted by Michelle Garmon of the Tipton Tribune and Elwood Call Leader, only on the Central Indiana Sports Report. Welcome, football fans, to a special edition of the Central Indiana Sports Report with myself, your host Greg Mengelp, and Tipton Tribune and Elwood Call Leader sports editor Michelle Garmon. Our Class 4A Sectional 21 championship game preview between the Pendleton Heights Arabians and the Yorktown Tigers. We have with us the Herald Bulletin's Rob Hunt, the Star Press's Kate Hampton, and Pendleton Heights head coach Jed Richmond. After we talk to the three of them, Michelle and I will return and make our game predictions. Before we get to all that, just want to let you know what's going on with the Central Indiana Sports Report. First of all, we have 8 sectional championship previews. Please go check out all of them that are being released on Friday. And on Thursday, Michelle and I previewed and predicted all of Central Indiana's sectional championship games. On Friday evening, I'll have the sectional championship scoreboard show with scores and highlights from across Indiana. Also this weekend, we will have continued coverage of IU and Purdue football, the Colts, IU basketball, and Purdue basketball, as all are in action this weekend. Please join us for our previews and our reaction shows. Also out Friday is our college football preview and prediction show with Eric and Ryan Robinson. That was a lot of fun. You should check that out. If you like this podcast and appreciate what we're doing, please do us a huge favor and click the like button. Every time someone hits that like button, it does something to the algorithm and it spreads our podcast to others who may enjoy it. Also, please consider subscribing. We are at Apple, Spotify, YouTube, Amazon, Audible, or SoundCloud. Please subscribe so you don't miss any of the fun. Also, high school basketball season is right around the corner. We'll have boys and girls scoreboard shows multiple times a week, hopefully starting next week. Pendleton Heights and Yorktown played a great momentum-shifting game. The momentum went back and forth, with Pendleton Heights beating the Tigers 24-22. The rematch should be a good one as well. Pendleton has its best record since 2011, which is also the last time the Arabians won a sectional championship. Their other title came in 2010, both under John Broughton. Behind Swiss Army Knife Jr. quarterback Brant Gray, the Arabians are averaging 37 points a game, over 40 points per game in their 10 wins. Gray has thrown for 1,324 yards and 14 touchdowns, and run for another 601 yards and 11 more touchdowns. Sophomore Joel Weaver's had a great breakout year with over 1,000 yards on the ground, including 249 and a 45-14 win over Mount Vernon to open the sectional. Rylan Kiesling leads a stout Arabian defense with 69 tackles, 8 for loss, 5 for sacks, and 2 fumble recoveries. Seniors Cooper Sims and Talon Foster have 7 combined interceptions. A win would give Jed Richmond, who's coming up here in a few minutes, his 100th career win between Western Boone, Lawrence Central, and Pendleton. Yorktown has been every bit as dominant as the Arabians ever since the postseason began, outscoring their 2 opponents 107-0. The 2 sectional shutouts give them 5 total shutouts on the season. Head coach Mike Wilhelm led the Tigers to sectional championships in 2008, 2014, and 2022. A win Friday would give Yorktown its first ever 4A sectional championship. The Tigers present a nice mix of running and passing. Junior Sam Tokar has thrown for 1,583 yards and 17 touchdowns. And senior Nate Luzader has run for over 1,000 yards and 19 touchdowns. Senior Cole Purdue is the team's leading receiver and also the team's leading tackler. Juniors Jabin Barnes and Henry Tokar have combined for 15.5 sacks for a strong Tigers defensive front. This will be the 53rd all-time meeting between the schools, with Pendleton winning 30 of the first 52. Please stay tuned for Rob Hunt, Cade Hampton, and Jed Richmond, and Michelle and I will be back with our sectional championship prediction. As we continue our preview of the Sectional 21 championship game between the Pendleton Heights Arabians and the Yorktown Tigers, we welcome in Rob Hunt of the Anderson Herald Bulletin, who of course covers Pendleton for a living. And Rob, man, what a year by this team. Now just a game away from their first sectional championship in 14 years.
Been a lot of fun. This team is a lot of fun to watch, especially when things are going well. When they're playing at an optimum level, which they were last week, that was one of the cleanest football games I've seen a high school team play. When they beat Greenfield Central, they are very enjoyable to watch. And you know, the computers and everything, and what the way the first game went tells me that they're going to have to. They're probably going to need to play another game like that this week.
Pendleton, how have they just gotten better each week? What makes this team so special and right on the cusp of getting that sectional?
There's a lot of statistical things you can look at. You can look at they have an ultra efficient quarterback who's also really dangerous with his legs, and Brant Gray. They've got a sophomore running back who's one of the breakout stars this fall, in Joel Weaver. They've got good receiver. Cooper Sims is a dynamic receiver and defensive back. Rylan Kiesling is one of the best defensive players around. Luke Graham is a Division I level offensive lineman, and that whole offensive line is really good. They have a great kicker, by the way. Those things all matter, but I think what it really boils down to is this group close. And when you talk to the players and the coaches, they talk about how this group has played together now for so long. This group of seniors, and they really care about each other. They're there for each other, and I think when you get a group that's that tight, and I think we've seen it in other sports too over the years, a group comes through and they're not going to let each other lose. And I think you see that with this group. They really play for each other. They've got a coach that really cares. We were kind of talking about that off the air beforehand. Coach Richmond really cares about these kids, and you can hear the emotion in his voice when he talks about them after a game, or even just in conversation if you run into him at a basketball game or something. I think there's a bond with this group that's really special, and it makes this it's kind of the fuel that makes this team go.
And Coach Richmond and this program really deserve one.
He came in, it is not easy following a legend, and that's what he had to do when Coach Braun retired. And he came in and he's kind of run it his way and has stuck to his guns. And it's not just football. You see the uptick in all their sports over there, and every coach will credit Coach Richmond for what he's done with the strength and conditioning program there at Pendleton Heights. He runs that, and he's made not just the football program better, or at least brought it back to that level. He's made the entire athletic department better with what he's done. So you just can't say enough good things about Coach Richmond. He's phenomenal to talk to as well, and he's really got this team playing at a very high level. They did not play well 2 weeks ago against Mount Vernon, and he copped to that fact for sure. They definitely played very well last week. That was a very clean performance. Brant Gray was perfect throwing the ball. They didn't miss many tackles. They very few penalties, no turnovers. They played a very, very efficient game.
At the same time, Pendleton Heights was dominating Greenfield Central. Yorktown was dominating Beech Grove on the road. Both teams have been playing very well.
Yes.
It was a very good game the first time around. Your expectations this time?
I would expect nothing different. These are two very, very good teams. I mean, they both have one loss in common, which is New Pal, and they have the other loss in common because they had to play each other. Those are the only losses either team has had. So they've really run roughshod over the rest of their schedule for the year, and the two teams that really won it. It's only been a couple of years for Yorktown, but they've never won a 4A sectional. So there's that kind of history. I think all their sectionals were either 3A, I think maybe a 2A back in the day. And for Pendleton, 2011, back when Coach Broughton won back-to-backs, that was the last time for them. And the only time that they won sectional. So long time coming for really both schools in terms of this class, and I think you're going to see two teams that really want it and go after it.
Rob, what will it take from Pendleton to earn a second win over Yorktown this season and a sectional championship?
I think they've got to defend the run for sure. I think Yorktown, and I'm not sure the kid's name, but he's piled up some big numbers this year on the ground, of about 1,700 yards, maybe rushing, and their quarterback's a dual threat too, just like Pendleton. They're very similar when you look at them on paper. Pendleton's quarterback can run and beat you with his legs and his arm, and the Yorktown's the same way. And both teams have really good defense, but I think Pendleton's really got to stop that run. I think this may be kind of a boilerplate for any coaching strategies. You want to take away something from the other team. In this case, it's probably the run. They put up big numbers offensively, but their defense is what's kind of led the way all year. I think they want to get another good game out of that defense Friday night.
Rob Hunt of the Herald Bulletin, thank you so much for your time. Tell everyone how they can read your work. And by the way, there is no better follow on Friday night Twitter if you're in Madison County than Rob Hunt. He does an amazing job on Twitter.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Hunt_Rob. You can also read our stuff at theheraldbulletin.com. We'll have coverage of both this game and another one we're probably going to talk about shortly from LaPel.
Make sure you also tune in for Rob's breakdown of LaPel and Triton Central as well. We continue our preview of Sectional 21 with Cade Hampton of the Muncie Star Press. We heard from Rob Hunt of the Herald Bulletin talking about the Pendleton Heights Arabians. Now we're here to talk to Cade about the Yorktown Tigers. And Cade, what a season for Yorktown.
Yorktown has had quite the year, 7-2 or 8-2 record now, I believe, at this point in the season. So quite a successful season. Obviously, they had that one loss to Pendleton during the regular season. They had New Pal as well, but that's kind of a given loss at this point. And then Pendleton, very, very tight game in the regular season. Yorktown only lost by 2 points and fought their way back into it late in the fourth quarter, and we're really one play away from sending it into overtime. So should be another really great matchup between these two conference rivals, and we'll see if Yorktown can pull a revenge game together.
It hasn't been that long, Cade, since Mike Wilhelm's teams have had postseason success, but it has been 4 years since they won a sectional championship, and this year has been a special one, very similar to those sectional championship type teams. What's been the key this year, do you think?
I think the biggest key for this team, when you look at their roster, is that defensive line. The front seven as a whole is really good, but those defensive linemen, you got Henry Tokar at defensive tackle. He's a senior, and then Jabin Barnes, he's another senior defensive end who missed a little bit of time with a calf injury during the regular season, but he's back and seems to be in full form now. Had a really great game in their sectional semifinal against Beech Grove. And Chris Wilson is a junior defensive end. He's very toolsy, has a very long wingspan, very big guy. And those three have really just dominated the opposing offensive lines that they've played. They've been really good about getting quick pressure, getting to the quarterback, and Barnes is such an athlete. He gets up, gets his hands in the air, and knocks balls away. Wilson, with his wingspan, does kind of the same thing. So it's pretty frustrating for opposing quarterbacks to deal with those guys. I would say that is definitely been their biggest strength. But also, if you look on the offense, the addition of Nate Lazatter to the backfield has really improved the run game. And then Sam Tokar has taken another step up at quarterback from his sophomore to his junior season. So the defense being so, strong up front, and then having the offense add a star player and also progress a lot of other really good players. Ben Steele at wide receiver, Cole Purdue at tight end. They've got some good guys for Tokar to sling the ball to. So seeing that progress on offense and then that defense being so strong up front, I think has been really kind of the key factors in this really strong season for the Tigers.
And they've bounced back from that loss to Pendleton Heights. by outscoring their next two opponents 107-0. 3 shutouts in the last 4 games and 4 shutouts this season. They held 6 of their 10 opponents so far to under double-digit scoring.
That defense is just insanely good. I've talked about the defensive line plenty, but linebackers, you got guys like Lazatter plays middle linebacker there. You got Diesel Walker and Tanner Griffey playing linebacker. Those guys are great playmakers. Walker, I think in the first game against Pendleton, I think he started with stripping the ball away from their running back and returning it for a touchdown. I know he returned the touchdown. It might have been Lazatter or somebody else who got the forced fumble, but that front 7 as a whole is just nasty. And then defensive back, you got guys like Caden Crooms out there at safety. He's a playmaker for them on both sides of the ball. That defense has just really come together. They've got a lot of experience. Most of those guys are seniors or juniors and really good athleticism, especially like I keep coming back to that defensive line. I think it all starts up there in the trenches for them. As long as Barnes and Wilson and Tokar are getting after opposing quarterbacks and shutting down the run, it's hard for anybody to move the ball against a team like that.
3rd straight game on the road. Good thing they're used to that because they started their first 4 games on the road this season because of their turf being installed, right?
Their new field, new facilities, stadium renovations, new turf, everything kind of took a little longer than was initially planned. So they did have to spend those first 4 weeks on the road, but went 3-1 with the only loss being at New Pal. So they've been kind of pretty solid road warriors this year. And obviously with the revenge game aspect coming up against Pendleton Heights, they're going to be hungry to go out there and get themselves a win.
What do you think needs to be different this time?
I think the biggest thing is that they, on offense, I think they need to have a better game plan for Rylan Kiesling, the linebacker. I think he got like 4 sacks against Tokar last time they played, and he really, I mean, that I mentioned earlier they were one play away from tying that game. It was a 2-point conversion play, and Kiesling just read it like a book and blew it up before they could really do what they wanted to do with the kind of trickeration play that they called. So they're definitely going to have to put more of a emphasis on stopping him up front. And then defensively, Brant Gray, the quarterback for Pendleton, he had a really good game, probably the best game that any quarterback has had against Yorktown this year. And he kind of was just smooth, efficient. I think he finished something like 14 for 17 passing, and he ran the ball really well too. I think he had almost 100 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns in that game. So they got to definitely do more to frustrate him, get him under pressure, get just kind of in his head a little bit, and make sure they slow down the run too. They stopped the running backs pretty well. They slowed down the running game in that aspect, but Gray really just killed him on some options and scrambles and whatnot. And that's going to have to change if they want to win a sectional championship for sure.
Cade Hampton, thank you so much for your time. Tell everybody how they can find your coverage and what's coming up with the Star Press.
My coverage, you can find it on Twitter. You can follow me at CadeHamp10 with the number 10 for the 10 there. And then you can also just go to thestarpress.com or the Star Press on Facebook and find all my work there. And yeah, we're really excited, looking forward to a nice Friday night lights game, potentially my last one of the season. And then we'll start really digging into the basketball scene here in East Central Indiana.
And that should be a lot of fun. We'll have you join us for that as well. Thank you so much for your time, Cade, and have fun on Friday night.
Absolutely, Greg. Thank you for having me. I sure will.
We continue our preview of Sectional 21 with Pendleton Heights head coach Jed Richmond. He has his Pendleton Heights Arabians 10-1 heading into Friday night sectional championship game. And Coach, your team came into this sectional the favorites to win it, first one since 2011, and so far they've handled it really well.
We've had a good run here and got a big test Friday, Yorktown Tigers. But yeah, I'm proud of the guys. They've done a good job all season, and we've had a lot of kids step up and really assert themselves and play some good ball right now.
Coach, how much easier is it to have the kids still be excited for the tournament now that New Pal moved up a class?
Yeah, it's it definitely creates more parity. I mean they got the better of us in week 5, and it's definitely wide open. Before the season, Greenfield was touted as the favorite. And then I've even read, I appreciate your kind words, but I've read Indy Star again and some others. Yorktown is the favorite, so that's the fun stuff about the tournament. We feel like the underdogs, and we definitely feel like our best ball's still ahead of us. We haven't peaked, so I'm excited that the kids are humble like that.
And I know I've told you this, Coach, but before the season, I didn't even mention Pendleton Heights in our conference champion contenders. Didn't even think about Pendleton because you lost a quarterback to college football, and you lost a running back to college football, and that's tough to overcome. What a job your team's done.
I appreciate that. Yeah, the staff. I got a really good staff. I'm very fortunate. We've been together. We've added some pieces, some different guys, but the nucleus of our staff's been together since I got here back in 2010, and they just keep working and we keep growing. We really poured into our youth program when I got here, and we're starting to really reap the rewards of that as well. And we are one cohesive program, K to 12, and we're a bigger school, but we still have that small town feel, and our corporation and community are one, and they're really supportive of what we have going.
Hey, Coach, I picked you to win the sectional, so you are my favorite. Yorktown, you guys played in earlier, a tight game. Defensively, Yorktown has been pretty good this year. What does your team need to do differently or better in this second meeting?
When we played them before, it was a fall break game. It was kind of weird and just a weird vibe, and it was a big one. There's a good crowd and everything, but at their place, it was fall break. It was like before people got their popcorn, we were down 10-0. It's like, what's going on here? And then we rattled off 24 unanswered and had total control of the game. And then they got a pretty talented quarterback, and we let them back in. That's kind of how it went. And then we made a play at the end to beat them. And at the end of the day, we felt like that was not our best game, and take nothing away from them. We felt like we left a lot of points on the board. We've been a pretty explosive offense, and we didn't execute very cleanly. And so there were a lot of things to polish up. But controlling the line of scrimmage is one. They have a very unique defense, and they've done a great job all year. I mean, they haven't surrendered a lot of points, and so we've got to make sure we're playing our best ball Friday and executing very well, and taking advantage of what we do know they're going to do. And then I'm sure they have some tricks up their sleeve, but it's going to come down to controlling the line of scrimmage and blocking and executing cleanly. And if we can do that, we got a pretty good chance.
Coach, Nate Luzatter.
Mm-hmm.
He's a load. I mean, he's literally low to the ground, tree trunk legs and everything. And hard to tackle, I think, probably because of that low center of gravity and strong legs. So what have you told your kids how?
We practice tackling low. We tackle legs all year. So, and he's quick too. He is put together, and he's quick, and he's the kind of player you don't want to face, but you'd love to have on your team, and he's a coach's kid and everything. He's got all the intangibles, but we've just got to be very physical with him. He plays both ways. There are multiple guys on their squad playing both ways. We don't have nearly as many. And so we've got to make that and we got to put that in our favor. We did a good job of it last time. But at the same time, that takes its toll when you get hit in the thighs and you get hit in the shins, as Coach Toll would say. We have a similar mindset here, and we've seen a lot of good backs this year, and he's definitely one of the best.
Coach, it's been 14 years since Pendleton Heights has won a sectional championship, which means no one in your school right now has ever won one, and you have not either. What would it mean for your program to win the championship on Friday night?
Boy, it's one of those things, I really, our community really gets behind us, and we play for them, and we want to make them proud, and they've come out and really support us all year long, and I'm sure it'll be standing room only Friday, and we just want to play our hearts out for them, and I know for me, there's a lot of personal with this that it'd be awesome for a lot of reasons that I won't get into, but on the most important would be to really kind of put some smiles on faces. It's been a while. We've been in a little lull, with the exception of girls basketball, which we were talking about earlier, and maybe softball. But on the boys' side, it's been a few years since we've had a big title like this. Basketball, football, baseball. It's been a few years, and we'd love to get the ball back rolling on this side of things. We got great kids and a great community, and we just we'd love to keep playing, and I know it'd mean an awful lot to a lot of people. I mean, I wasn't here obviously last time they won it. I mean, this is the 11th time we've made the championship, which is not a lot when you look at. I mean, Yorktown's been 13 times. I mean, you look at some of the schools in our conference and in this sectional, and we've been back-to-back years we've been, and came up short last year against the state champs, and it's one of those things we want it to be our turn, so we're going to leave it out there on the field, and we've left no stone unturned in preparing for it, and I'm sure Yorktown's done the same. It's be their first 4A title, I believe, so I'm sure Coach Wilhelm's saying similar stuff, but I'm just awful proud of our team and our community, and just hopefully we can all bring it together Friday.
Pendleton Heights head coach Jed Richmond, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it as always, and good luck on Friday.
Good luck, Coach.
All right, Michelle, we've heard all the facts and figures, all the numbers. We heard about Pendleton Heights' close win over Yorktown the first time around. We heard from Kate Hampton of the Muncie Star-Press, Rob Hunt of the Herald Bulletin, and Pendleton Heights head coach Jed Richmond. So, again, this should be a really good one. I think we've talked about that all through this podcast. But in the end, Michelle, you are taking who to win Sectional 21?
Pendleton Heights. My prediction has not changed. I predicted them from the get-go to win the sectional. Nothing has transpired to make me change that. In our discussion with Coach Richmond, I was really impressed with just how on target his team seems to be, the right mindset and attitude and everything. And I think it's the right mix between excitement and focus, and I think they're ready to take advantage of the opportunity that's ahead of them.
I really like both of these teams. I like both of these coaches and both of these programs. And I think they are both going to be heard from for a while now. I don't think it's just this year. But this seems to me to be Pendleton Heights' year. I think both teams were very happy to see New Palestine move up.
Yes,
sure.
Definitely.
And looked very forward to this year and this postseason. And this is going to be a great one, two green teams, by the way.
It is.
There's going to be a lot of green out there. But I think it's Pendleton Heights is the pick.
I think so. Their fans are going to, and I think Yorktown fans will travel well to this game, but I think that the Pendleton Heights fans are just going to help to make that an electric atmosphere for their team, knowing that since no New Pal, they have a legitimate shot at winning the sectional.
So we both agree it's Pendleton Heights in Sectional 21. This was one of 8 sectional previews that we did, so please go check out one of the other ones. And also on Thursday, Michelle and I previewed and predicted all of Central Indiana's sectionals and gave our picks to those. Please do us a huge favor and share this podcast with a high school football fan in your life and help spread the word that the Central Indiana Sports Report is here talking about Central Indiana sports every single day. Thank you so much, Michelle.
Thank you, Greg.
Central Indiana Sports Report is a product of ITG Media, and I love Susie.